Hello, you are joining me for kind of an update and a review and a preview of all things backyard. I'm Patty, and I will take you on this tour real quick. Please feel free to invite your children to this because we've been trying to explain it to everyone, and if your children understand it too, all the better. So, some of you might have seen this beautiful image. This was taken by our general contractor. It's a drone shot of our school. Have you ever seen such a beautiful image of how right in the middle of the livable forest we are? So if you really scan in the middle, you'll see where the construction took place. I am here to tell you, whatever this is, first week in March, that we are on the cusp of moving into the new building, which has brought lots of excitement. And then the attention turns to, yeah, but what about the backyard? And I get you. I hear you. We still need to get into the building. There's a lot more to be done. What I thought I would do is just try to pull back just a little bit to remind folks that our backyard has been here for 48 years. And so there were times that our backyard looked different than it does now, different than it did 18 months ago. We are ending our 48th school year here. So these were images of our backyard when it seemingly looked like the wild, wild west. No backyard fence, could go straight out into the green belt. Looks like a little bit of some homemade backyard play equipment, but nonetheless, these are real photos from our backyard back in the day. Moving on to a little more recent, we have fences here, but you can see that we have had backyards with absolutely no play equipment, lots of picnic benches and lots of places to run. It is also our backyard. And then we did have some structures pop up. And so this one was early 2000s, mid 1990s is where we are now. And so just a little bit of history that the backyard is will always continue to live and grow and die and recreate as the years go on. The most recent backyard that most of you were familiar with was a backyard that looked like this. It was built in 2005 and it was lovingly called Infinity Science Park. So some of you will most probably remember this. And these were beautiful days, and this playground stayed with us for many, many years. So a good 20, 21 years, this playground served our school. So if you're watching this video right now, there's a chance that you came in right at the end of the life expectancy of what was Infinity Science Park. So here's a beautiful verdant image of the backyard. And one of the reasons why this play equipment did not last any longer is our backyard is a floodplain. It is known to us, it is marked as a floodplain, and this is what repeatedly happened in the backyard. So 20 years of wooden structures taking on moisture made that playground unsafe. So if you're curious why we took it down because it was increasingly unsafe and not sustainable for us to keep replacing all of the infrastructure to keep the playground going. We did, though, start building some brand new structures. So this is our treetop loft, which is tucked up in the back corner of the playground. And you can tell we've elevated it. And we wanted it specifically for our elementary and middle school students. Our school has continued to grow since our founding in 1977. We started with just primary age children and then toddlers and then slowly elementary and middle school, back down to infants. But our elementary program is just doubling in size, and our backyard did not grow with the age groups of children that we had enrolled. So the current or the most recent playground, Infinity Science Park, was really built primarily for primary with very little for elementary. And so as we rebuild the backyard, we need to build it balancing the students that use it, right? Balancing their ages. So we are being really mindful of that half of our school's population is lower elementary to middle school, and the other half is infants to primary. So the backyard has to accommodate both. So this was our first key piece for the elementary and middle school students. Primary students can come on this with teachers. And so there might be a walk that a teacher wants to do to which he or she will walk the students on there. But as a piece of play equipment, it's for elementary and middle. So most of you were around for this. So we joked, but it's continued to be true, that our backyard turned into the monster truck rally that we said it would. We needed to have access to the building, and that really took a toll on the soil. And so that's where we are now. What we're doing now is letting the backyard heal. We spent $3,000 of the money that was raised through Snowball, regrading the backyard and also planting rye seed. So it looks quite green right now. And if you know anything about ryegrass, it really just is a winter grass. So when it starts to get hot, which probably will be the day after tomorrow, that will start to die back. But we needed it to hold the soil in place. And we also used your snowball run money to start to finish, well, to start to finish, but to finish the regrading of the backyard. Because we're in a floodplain, we do not want to put in new play equipment until we have managed where the water will go. And so we have landscape architects on that and surveyors. So it's a lot of really unseen work that's going right now. So I feel like we really are working on the playground. I understand that children might not think we're working on the playground, or you might not think we are, but we are. And there's a lot of money and a lot of time going into that right now. So, in the meantime, what are we doing? In the meantime, we are observing children. We are looking at their play patterns. We are seeing what is it that children really need to do developmentally. We want to have spaces in our backyard that allow for things that are different than just your conventional playground, because playgrounds exist in Kingwood. Playgrounds might exist in your backyard or in your community association. We want to do something that is unique and different that children don't necessarily have access to. So, nice open places for peacefulness, things that have challenge for adolescents and elementary, not necessarily always climbing trees, but being able to interact with nature in ways that sometimes static play equipment does not afford. And with the small amount of time, about 6 months or so since the fencing has been giving way to access to the backyard, the teachers are really reporting that their observations of your children are that they're playing with the backyard differently. They are spending time gathering up leaves and jumping in them. They are digging. I had a report that we had a dinosaur in the backyard, and a written request for tools because they were sure that Pines was built on dinosaur bones. These are the types of play that did not exist when the backyard was just overpopulated with structures. So we're listening. We're also listening to the ways that children use equipment. So this is a question that some of you might have heard me say. We have this conversation with upper elementary students often. As we are picking and choosing the pieces that we want to put in the backyard, we are trying to make sure that we are not just hitting the developmental milestones of the students and also making sure that things are fun and safe, but that we're getting the best bang for our buck. So this is an example of a swing that more than one child can be on. the language that we're using, especially with the elementary students, as we've been collecting their wishes and dreams. When you have a swing set system, there is, well, actually, I almost gave you the answer. Here's the question. The question is, how many things can you do on a swing before you get in trouble? Okay, I'm hearing the children watching the video answer. It's one. Once you get on the swing and you swing, almost everything else you do, you get in trouble for. Please don't wrap the swing up and twist it up. Please stay on your bottom. Don't jump off of it. Don't push your friends too high. Don't interconnect the swings, right? And so that one piece of play equipment, and I'm serious when I tell you this, every vignette in the backyard is going to cost $100,000. It is true. With the infrastructure that needs to go in underneath, with the surrounds that need to be built around it, to do it well is going to be about $100,000 each pocket, right? So to do that and have only maybe one student be able to use a swing at a time, and they can only do exactly one thing on that piece of equipment, we are trying to stay away from one-trick ponies. So, if children really want to swing, how about we try to get a swing like this to which more children can do the same activity at once? And it really does limit the things that could go wrong, like that won't twist. We're looking at using our backyard and understanding the topography to create places where the children get to declare what they're playing, as opposed to the backyard telling them, you must be an astronaut because this backyard is an astronaut backyard. You must be a dragon because this backyard is all about knights and dragons. And those playgrounds exist in Kingwood. We want to do something that doesn't. So nice, gentle vignettes like this. Things that potentially are movable. And this is where we get into a little bit of a sticky situation. One of the things we love about pines, and if you're new to us or with the backyard not being available recently, you might not know this, but one of the hallmarks of your school, our school, is that the backyard has always been open to the community. And while we love that people can play in our backyard as one of the only privately owned but publicly available playgrounds in the city, um, is that when things are movable, sometimes people take them, right? But we do want movable pieces, but we just have to create ways that we can make sure that our backyard remains beautiful for the students during the week and still be accessible to families on the weekends. And we're looking for really cool, cozy ways for adolescents to, and upper L and lower L students to have a place to read outside, to draw, to have conversations, to roll around. And so these are aspirational pictures. These are not purchased, they're not on their way here, but it is the vibe that we're going for. So we did want you to kind of see our mood board, if you would. This is the last slide, and it's a bigger kind of vision of the backyard, and this is what we are still currently working on. So some of you might recall that we use this phrase of a pines pathway. What we're working with now with our landscape architect, and we're in the final parts of that, again, grading the backyard, is creating a pathway that would walk families and people around the backyard that would create these moments of play that would differ from each other, that would allow great big open spaces for the pop-up games of soccer or Red Rover, and things like that. Pockets of places for digging, pockets of places for talking and swinging and painting and art and music. The thing that we're working on now is really thinking about what if we had public art in the backyard, if there was a welder who could help us create beautiful pieces of art that children could have access to, that the community could have access to that, to make sure that it's accessible to families accessible to our infants. When they go on their stroller walks, they currently can't get down to the backyard. So we want to make sure that the pathways do that. So there's a lot happening. The event, which is our largest injection of capital that helps us move the big needle. Last year's brought us the pavilion. We didn't have such a great big space, and now we do. And you see that at play in the park. There are things that are happening. The faster this goes, honestly, comes with the injection of more capital. We did not raise tuition above the price of eggs and butter and bread, right? And we didn't do a capital campaign for the new building. So we haven't been asking our families to do twice. But the event is that place where we can go out to the community and ask people to support this project that is available to their families and yours as well. Last year, we raised $105,000 in about 5 hours. It's an incredible night. It's the first Saturday in May. You're going to hear more about it as we go. But the money from that goes to this. And we have already spent at least $100,000 just getting the backyard ready. We're getting closer. So we thank you for your patience. But I'm telling you, your children are loving this freedom right now. It is 100 yards from side to side. Our backyard is as large as a football field. And it is rare that children can break into 50 and 100-yard dashes without any impediment. We are looking also to do new plantings out there, working with Jesse H. Jones Nature Reserve. So there's a lot of beautiful things on tap. So just keep the event in mind. Enjoy the backyard we have now. Dream about the abundance of what it will be, and recognize that the backyard is a living space that has always kind of matched what was happening at Pines. And so it's on tap. It's coming. So we thank you for your ongoing support, and your patience, but this is going to be amazing. All right, that's all for now. Talk to you guys soon. Bye bye.